Did you know the satisfying ding that rings out when a Fat Man nuke is launched in Fallout 3 is the lunch bell from the Bethesda cafeteria? You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For all the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode 186. My name's Gareth Brunning, I'll be your host. And on my virtual left is Mr. Richard Dobson. How you doing, Richard?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very good. Long time no see. We're going to hear about why in a minute. And on my virtual right is Mr. Paul Renshaw. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Gareth. I just want to register a complaint that doing the podcast on a Thursday night doesn't half interfere with my trying to get the series article together for Forza Horizon 5. But, you know, I know you don't care about that, so...
You're still cranking those out?
Yeah, well, you know, they seem to make a regular appearance in the most read articles list, so yeah.
Yeah, good.
Well, there's an audience, please.
Is that good? Absolutely right. Richard, let's talk about our week. But what have you been doing, Richard? You've been away, haven't you?
I have. I went away with work on a business trip to Taiwan, and after that, I decided to take a few days holiday and travelled on my own to Tokyo and had a good few days in there. Absolutely loved it. Didn't want to come home. Did a lot of sightseeing. I stayed where I stayed was where I think I mentioned it before, but where the Like a Dragon games are set. So the main city there. I was slap bang in the middle of that, in the hotel that's got a big, I think it might be a life-size Godzilla, sort of towering next to it. It's just like the head, but you can, where the hotel lobby is, you can walk out onto a balcony and see it there. But thankfully that was shut off. But you could see it through a window. But I thought that's close enough for me, because it was a pretty daunting face screaming down.
It's not what you want to see when you wake up in the middle.
Wow.
Well, funnily enough, you could book rooms that had a view of, and all you could see was like the eyes of Godzilla just staring at you through the room all night. And I was like, not a chance in hell.
I love that. That's brilliant.
I'm really surprised that you didn't go for it.
No way.
So you went there for work, didn't you? Is that right?
I went to Taiwan for work. Yeah. We've got a lot of engineers out there, and the rest of our team are based out there. So we were together as a team of 7 for the entire week for the first time ever. So it was really, really good meetings, lots of good discussions. Great to meet a lot of the people that I've been chatting via email for years and put faces to names and everything like that.
Great.
And then, sorry, go on.
No, go on, carry on.
Just did a few things in the evening, went up Taipei 101, which I went up back in 2014 when I was out there another time. And I think at that point it was like the 6th tallest building in the world. I think now, in the years since, because everything's just been, every country seems to have been building, it's like down to 14th or something. But it is literally 101 floors straight up. One of the fastest elevators in the world. It gets you to the 89th floor, where you can get really good views of the city in about 40 seconds.
Wow.
And it's the kind of one where you need boiled sweets, because your ears just keep popping all the time, you know, like on a plane. It's a very similar sensation.
Wow.
And then we went to, on the last night we were there, we went to a place called Jufen, which is like a coastal town in Taiwan. And it's supposedly where they got the inspiration for Spirited Away. And you sort of on this little mountain path, and then you just round this corner. And we arrived at the perfect time, because it's just as the sun was setting, all these lanterns were lit up in the side of this mountain where this little town was, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Amazing.
Did you take lots of photographs?
I did, yeah. I'm planning on doing an article on the photographs that I took with regards to the Like a Dragon sites that I went round and saw anyway.
I look forward to that.
That's a great idea.
Had a brilliant time.
Brilliant, Richard. Well, we're glad you're back with us all.
I'm not.
Oh, no, it's all right. Jesus. Paul, what about you?
I bet he's been a right miserable sod since he got back as well, hasn't he? What about me? Well, I've not been anywhere quite as exciting as Tokyo or anything like that. I did go to Isleworth in London this week, which was, one of the highlights. You can always tell when you're inside the M25 because I looked at the sat-nav and it said, you are 20 miles away and it's going to take you an hour and a half. So I was like, that was great. But the big, most exciting thing that's happened to me this week is it's fishing related, so brace yourselves. I have a chair made by a company called Quorum who make very good fishing equipment. And for ages, I've been trying to find a footplate that you can attach to this chair. And finally this week, I managed to track one down. So there you go. When I sit on the bank next time, I won't have to put my feet in the mud. I'll be able to rest them on my new footplate.
This is what you get from this podcast. Some good.
This is quality stuff. I'm telling you. And if anybody from Quorum is listening, I am open for sponsorship opportunities. So just come talk to me.
Brilliant, Paul. Thank you. I have had a terrible week. I basically broke down on the motorway with a big flat tire. I was 4 hours on a Costa Coffee. It was nothing. No laptop. I couldn't use my phone because I was waiting for the RSC to come pick me up. The tyres now cost me 160 quid, so I'm not happy about. And my internet's gone down in the house. It's gone down the whole street, and it's not going to be repaired till next week. So we're doing this podcast on sellotape, basically. Sellotape and goodwill. I've found a way of trying to get piggyback some. So if it goes down, sorry about the quality. That's happened. That's been horrible. And there's a helicopter going out outside my house at the moment, so what's going on? I think it's for me. It's all going wrong. It's all going in threes. But I did see a good series called, and it's on Paramount Plus, which not many people have got, and it's called The Curse, which is on Showtime in America, if you want to wear it. And The Curse is got Emma Stone in it, and a guy I'm not aware of, but he's a comedian writer. And I think, Richard, did you talk about The Rehearsal a while back? The TV.
No.
Who talked about that? Maybe James did.
It was probably you.
I don't think it was, but I haven't seen it. But I think it might be James. And I think he starred in this Rehearsal, which is almost like a weird reality kind of strange thing. And it's absolutely brilliant. It's the most awkward thing you'd watch. It follows a couple in this kind of place in New Mexico who are making a TV program they're trying to sell about well living and about eco-friendly and building a community up from the thing. But everyone's horrible, but depressed. And it's really, really, really well done. And I don't want to say anything more about it in case you get to see it, but it's on Paramount Plus, so not a lot of people will, but so it's called The Curse. It's very, very good. But let's talk about games. What have you been playing? Let's start with Richard, because Richard's been doing something linked to where he's been, possibly.
Yeah, like I can't get enough of it already. I've just put my review in now for Like a Dragon Gate, and the man who erased his name to give it its Sunday name. And this is a sort of, originally it started as a DLC for Yakuza Like a Dragon, which was the 7th mainline entry. Sort of fills in the gap between the end of Yakuza 6, where we sort of fans said goodbye to Kiryu, the main protagonist for many of the games, and the new upcoming game, which is called Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, I think it's called. There's a lot of confusing names going around now. So it sort of bridges a gap between those two because Kiryu's now back. He's in the new game coming out. So they've put this like condensed version of a traditional Yakuza game out to sort of fill in the gap of what he's been doing in that time. And it's kind of, I think it came out it's almost like with Assassin's Creed Mirage, you know how that was like a shorter Assassin's Creed game. This new Like a Dragon Gaiden is very much in the same vein. It's the same premise, same concept, but it's a much more condensed story. I think it can be done in 15 hours, which for a Yakuza game is very short.
Wow.
Unfortunately, even though I was in Kabukicho, which is one of the cities in the Like a Dragon games, it's not in this new one. It's based in a different fictionalized city, which I wasn't able to visit because it was on a different island in Japan and miles away. So it's all in this new one, but it's kind of like, I think I've described it as like Yakuza greatest hit. So it takes a lot of fan favorite side activities and mini games from previous entries and puts them all into this one game. Much shorter story to bridge the gap. And yeah, I mean, I've never had a bad experience with a Yakuza or a Like a Dragon game, and this one's very much the same thing. I did give it Paul's score though.
Oh no! Nobody else used that score.
So but yeah,
2.5.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this franchise, and this is another solid entry. It's on Game Pass, but I wouldn't recommend it as people's first entry into the genre. I think many of the other games are better starting points. This one's very much it's a little bit fan servicey in places, and there's a lot of things that perhaps you need to know beforehand to get fully invested into it. So it's not the ideal starting point.
Okay, but it's on Game Pass in case you're keen to have a look at it.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Maybe I can finish one.
I really need to. I need to have a go at this franchise, because every time there's one out, he comes on and he waxes lyrical, and I think I must give that a try. And then, yeah.
Paul,
start with 0.
Never get round to it.
Yeah, start with 0.
Start with 0.
Paul, what have you been playing? Because you haven't filled anything in our document that we all share. We don't know. It's a surprise. Surprise us.
It's the secret. Yeah, you have to guess. Well, I'll briefly touch on news from last week, where you and Darren did the worst job of dissuading me from buying a PlayStation 5. So I actually have gone and bought one of said PlayStation 5s and a copy of Final Fantasy 16. And I've got as far as putting the disc in the drive, but I haven't actually played it yet. Yeah,
it's a good start.
So, I've got that to look forward to. But since Christmas seems to be the season of many, many games needing reviews, I'll talk again. It's another Game Pass game, actually, and it's called War Tales. And what it is a cross between a survival game and a strategy sort of RPG kind of game. Now, when you start the game, you have to choose what the background is for your troop of fellas or women. There's equal opportunity survival here. So you choose whether you're a farmer or whether you're a deserter or whatever. And each thing that you choose, you have to choose 2 things that give you good bonuses, and then 1 thing that takes bonuses away. You might be timid and so on. And then you have to wander around this massive landscape, finding missions and talking to people and doing various fights and everything. And it's really, really good. I'm describing it absolutely horribly, but the review is ready to go live as soon as the editor manages to find a moment in the day to send it live. But it's a great combination of trying to manage your guys and keep them happy and pay their wages and make sure they've got enough food, and then going into a turn-based fighting game like a proper tactical RPG. It's a really good marriage of those 2 genres. It's really interesting. There's loads and loads of things to do in it, and it's on Game Pass. What more do you want?
I've got it downloaded, so I'll have a go at that over Christmas. That sounds very good.
I think you should. It's probably not for you, Gareth.
Oh.
You'll like the bit where you just walk around the landscape, and when it comes to actual fighting, you might get a bit scared.
Good, great, like that. I'm going to talk about Bang on Balls Chronicles.
Beg your pardon?
my favourite title ever. Now, Bang on Balls Chronicles is a game that has a very retro feel. What I mean by retro, it has that kind of like games you sort of played in the PS1, PS2, and also like Nintendo 64. So it has that kind of Mario 64 or Banjo Kazooie. You know, when you used to play a game, it was mad bonkers, innuendo. You were sort of like in a massive open world, and you could just do what you want and be crazy, almost like maybe like Ape Escape and things like that. It reminds me of that, but it's very modern still. It hasn't got a retro feel to it. And you play a ball that you can customize, and you go into Bang TV Studios, and you basically have 4 big, massive open worlds based on a kind of TV theme. And it's like, it could be one's like a Viking one's like piratey, one's space themed. And you go in there and you have some objectives that you can go through, and you've got a boss at the end of each one, but you're just mucking around. There's so much to do. Secret passageways, little objectives here, do this here, see that there. It's like a really old school platformer, 3D platform adventure game from those times. And you know what? It's a lot of fun. It's really good. You can roll the ball around, you can bang into other balls, which hence the title. You can platform, jump, get everything. You just really get kind of engrossed in that world. It's really cheerful, colourful. There's a good team behind it. I've done lots of stuff. I had a great time with it. And I think I've given it a Paul score. I think I've given it a 4.5 because there's not many games.
It's not called a Paul score.
It is. I've named it the Paul score. It's called the Paul score. You should be flattered.
Oh,
and
it's
it's not many games like this on the Xbox. So, and it's a lot of fun. Kids can play, adults can play, have a great time. Yeah, it's really good. And that's out now. I don't think the review's out. It's about $24.99, which is worth it, I think. So there you go. Richard, have you got another one to talk about?
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk about this one because it's just arrived on Game Pass today, in fact. But I'm playing the Remnant 2 DLC called The Awakened King. I've spoken about Remnant 2 before. It is my game of the year for this year. Anyone that played the first one will understand that the second one does everything that the first one did right, but slightly better, and had an absolute blast with it. And now I'm playing through this DLC, which is just more of the same, which I'm happy to do. I mean, story-wise, because the premise for Remnant is obviously it's post-apocalyptic, but you have the campaign, and then you have these little things called adventure mode, where you can sort of re-roll one of the worlds you've explored, because it's all procedurally generated, and it'll give you a new area to explore at your current level, perhaps shake things up in terms of where you originally would expect a boss fight. It'll give you a different boss fight and things like that. And The Awakened King is sort of separate from the main campaign, but it is purely just an adventure mode bit of DLC. But it takes place in one of the worlds that is from the second game, called Le Somme, I think is how it's pronounced. Which I really enjoyed exploring the first time because it reminded me a lot of Bloodborne and that dilapidated gothic feel to things. But then this story turns out that there's a king that's he believes is the rightful king, and you're turning up to sort of knock him down a peg or two, basically. And yeah, it's full of secrets again. There's new guns, there's new traits to find. Whilst the world's procedurally generated, it really doesn't feel like it. It's so well designed and put together. You can be exploring one way a minute, and then all of a sudden you find yourself in a boss fight. There was one that I did yesterday, I think, which was against this witch, but it starts off down in the sewers area, but it's almost like a maze. But as the fight begins, all you've got is a corridor, and the only way that you can access extra bits of the maze is for her to attack you whilst you're near one of these breakable walls. So the boss fights are really do change things up a bit from the first game as well. They're much more involved, and they've got different ways to defeat them, like that one. And yeah, it's more of the same. It's my game of the year, and I'm happy to play more of it in form of the DLC. And
you said Remnant 2 is on Game Pass now.
It's on Game Pass today. Yeah,
brilliant.
It's amazing, is that?
Yeah, it's
that, and the first one is joined as well, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, it has.
Great,
both very good Souls likes.
I have to say, I hope that you're a suitably high level, because I need your assistance, Dobbo. I cannot beat a boss called Annihilation. Have you fought that one?
I don't know if I have fought that one, actually.
It's like a giant dragon that flies out of a hole in the floor.
Oh, no,
absolutely destroys me. So yeah, when you've got a minute, let me know, and you can assist me.
Yeah, I'm up for some co-op on it. Definitely.
I've got the DLC as well. So if you wanted to try that, then we'll organise this when we're not listening to Gareth sighing in the background, going, "I wish they'd shut up."
There's room for one more, Gareth.
Well, all I'm thinking, I'm just going to apologise. I'm just going to apologise to everyone because our internet. I am running this off sellotape, as I said before, so there might be some moments sort of cut out there. Not that we could hear everything you're saying.
Is that you saying that you're just going to edit me and Dobbo talk?
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing?
It was like robots. No, it was not too bad. Not too bad at all. Good. Let's. I will play it. But I've got so much to do. I've got no internet.
I think you should. It's brilliant. It's really, really good.
Paul, what's your second game? What mystery game are you going to talk about now?
Oh, mystery game. What have I done? What have I been playing just recently? That's a very good question. I'm going to talk about another game, actually, that's just released on Game Pass. I'm going to do a bit of a Game Pass special today, and it's called Dune Spice Wars. Now, not a lot of people know this, but when I first started looking at computers when I was at university, the first game I ever played on a PC was called Dune 2. And it was a strategy game where you had to kind of take over the world and harvest all the spice and everything else while playing as one of the houses from Dune, the book. And basically, this is like an updated version of that game where you can choose to be House Atreides or House Harkonnen or whoever. And then you have to conquer the world. And there's extra layers in it this time. That there's politics involved. You have to get voted on the council and all this kind of stuff. It's really, really deep and complex. I've only sort of scratched the surface. I've just started playing it, but it looks like it's going to be one of those games that will consume your life. There's so much to go at, and once you've finished the campaign with one house, there's many others to choose from and try again. And there's also multiplayer built into it as well. So you can take on other people around the world. So, yeah, this is another strategy game. It's almost like a Command and Conquer type game where you have to get resources and build troops and then go off into the desert and fight all the baddies and this, that, and the other. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. And keep your eyes peeled for an upcoming review.
Brilliant, Paul. It's good. You're all happy.
You
Everyone's happy.
Everyone's happy, apart from you.
Apart from me, I'm really grumpy because I've got you two sound like robots. And
we sound all right. You sound like a darling.
And I'm going to... Well, the bad news is I can't review any more games. Well, maybe it's a good news for certain people, but I can't review any more games at the internet because I can't download anything and I'm up to date. And the one game I've got downloaded is online, so it's to review, which is so it's a little nightmare. But the good news is, I went back to my PS5 and went, let's do some Spider-Man 2 because I can't watch anything on the TV as well because there's no internet as well because everything is internet connected. And I've done a whole lot of Spider-Man 2, and I think I might say Alan Wake 2 is my game of the year. If I could put a PS game, we don't do it on our list, but Spider-Man is really good. It's much better than I thought it was in the first 15 minutes or whatever I played. It just does different game mechanics. You do different things all the time. You're suddenly doing drones. At one point, you're just walking around and going on fairground rides. It's a really clever. So much money's been put into it. I think Paul, now he's got PS5, should get those 2 games and enjoy themselves with that. Richard, have you played any more of it?
I don't have it yet.
Ah, yeah, there you go.
I'm still going to do Miles Morales first, and then pick it up.
Good idea. Yeah, it's great. Really, really good. Really impressed by it. And I'm sort of like, when you get the open world games, I haven't done this for a while because maybe time, and now I'm sort of doing everything. I'm trying to sort of almost 100% it. And it's fun, 100%. Like the first game, you're just doing the same kind of like side quests. This is a lot more fun. There's a lot more going on, a lot more different things to do. Really enjoying it. Good. There's our games. Now let's talk about some news. We've got our December top games on Game Pass article to go through that none of us ever heard of any of the games, and we don't say much about them, but we still do it every month.
I've heard of one of them.
Good,
I may be reviewing one of them, but I can't tell you which one.
Brilliant. We'll get to that soon. But first of all, we watched the Dragon's Dogma 2 presentation, which is a very short 15-minute presentation, and it had a release date that we already knew because it got leaked about 2 weeks before. Dragon's Dogma 2. Let's go to Paul, because Paul's a massive Dragon Dogma fan. What do you think?
You know how I'm sort of gainfully employed and have a full-time job? I may have missed the showcase.
Oh my Jesus Christ.
So don't come to me.
Have you done anything?
I haven't.
You didn't even put any games in. You haven't looked at anything.
Yes, Gareth. I've done lots of work.
Well, we've all done lots of work.
The thing that keeps the roof over my head.
You. Every night you're trying to play Forza.
Will work.
Every night you ask us to play Forza. You could be doing this.
That's not true. It's not every night.
Unbelievable.
But yes, I completely forgot. I do apologise for my lack of preparedness. I mean, I know that's normally your jam, but this time I've let you down. I've let myself down, and I've let the team down.
You're not reviewing the game now when it comes out.
And I really want to play it as well.
That's it. You're out now.
I forgot.
You're out for the review.
Yeah, that's it.
Done.
I'm out.
Richard, if you did you watch it? I bet he hasn't watched it.
Can I? No, I haven't watched it.
Oh my!
Sorry. Can you plead the fifth? So, Gareth, what did you think of this game?
My God. Unbelievable. One thing I had in this. There's the one thing we had in this list of things to do, and I haven't done it. Oh, I'm slimy.
It's like having Neil here.
Where's James? James would have watched it. Okay, so yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2 is... So we had a little 13-minute video. It kind of had the trailer first of all, and then it had kind of special on the kind of new creatures they had. One of the big creatures that sort of comes out, it's like a huge statue coming out of the water, like a massive kind of Greek kind of warrior statue, and it reminded a lot of people of like Shadows of the Colossus, kind of like feeling of like you've got to fight this huge kind of boss battle, and you're going to have to do it like by climbing up bits of it. I think, Dragon's Dogma fans will get very excited about it. It didn't look brilliant. I think we said that it didn't look like a massive step up from the first, but maybe that's not a problem. It looks, they do it. They have a very unique style. It would do some of the kind of gameplay for that game is probably some of the best gameplay in an RPG. Is that fair to say for the first game, Paul?
Yeah, the first game was very, very good.
So I think they will be doing much more of the same. It's a full price game, which is very different, and it's coming out I think March the 22nd. But it had all the kind of elements of like the party, and it's the same elements as before. You've got a party of kind of a thief.
Does it still have the pawn system and everything?
It didn't show any of that. It just had a kind of special on the creatures. It was very short. The trailer was a kind of own bit. But I'm sure we'll hear some more. Maybe some more little extra bits later on. But yeah, I think it's it looks exciting. I think people are excited. Big game as well that's coming out in March. Another one to add to the list. I can't believe I'm the one talking about it. I thought you two would be chatting about it like for ages.
I tell you what, you're the best.
Oh my God.
You?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, thanks, Gary.
Yeah,
you managed to watch it with no internet. I'll tell you what, that's above and beyond.
Good, I know. I'm grumpy. Let's make me more.
You've been grumpy all night.
Let me go through the next grumpy bit, which would be the top games that I'm trying to download as we speak. What we should be playing in December 2023. It's never going to download. It's slowly churning up. I think one of them is going to be, because I can't see anything in the moment.
You need to pedal faster.
One of them's going to be on the Ubisoft game, the Pandora. What's it called? The Avatar game, isn't it? Is that in there?
Avatar, yeah.
Okay, well,
that's in there. Yeah.
Frontiers of Pandora.
Pandora. That's coming out December the 7th. Now, I was excited about this. First of all, we talked about it ages ago when we first saw it. So it's kind of like the thing that's been targeted is like Far Cry in Avatar world. I think there's probably a lot more to this. It looks very beautiful. Any of you two convinced by this?
Not overly. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of Avatar, but having said that, I do like the Far Cry games. So if they can sort of make it feel a bit like that, I might be interested. But yeah, it's not blowing my skirt up. Let's put it that way.
What about you, Richard?
I mean, it looks very pretty, but yeah, I'm not sure I can do another Ubisoft open world, tons of icons, do everything sort of thing. And similar to Paul, I'm not the massive Avatar fan in the first place.
Right. Okay. Well, there you go. You two are not keen.
What do you think, Gareth?
I'm quite excited about this, but
God,
I've played a lot of games this year. You'd feel like a little bit of a break come December, but I am quite excited about this. Like a big open world game. I've still got to go back to Starfield. I talked about that a couple of weeks ago. So I think it'll look beautiful. I think it'll be quite fun. I think it's like when you get into it, well, I'll be fully into it, but yeah, it's a strange time to come out. I think this would have been better in kind of February or something, but anyway, we'll see what happens. Now, you two are going to have to... Richard, you tell me what's next on the new Xbox game, because I can't download anything.
So starting from the top, there is Steam World Build.
And that is out now, is it? It's always out on Game Pass. And
it's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah.
But it's December's list, so...
Oh, yeah, of course.
Very soon. not maybe today. Let me have a look.
Yeah.
You two.
Well, what do you think? What do we think about this game, Paul?
Absolutely nothing. I have got literally no idea what it is. I've heard the name, but I don't know what's involved or what you're supposed to do. I assume you're meant to dig.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't know.
It's tomorrow. It comes out tomorrow. So the 1st of December.
Great. Thank you, Richard. Richard, tell us about it. What do we know?
But it's based in the same world as the Steam World games, which I've never played. But I believe this one's more of like a management simulation game. So you're building your Steam World for yourself. But then I believe it's not all underground like the previous games might have been. I believe you can build on the surface and sort of dig down from there as well. That's all I know.
It's like we're time travelers now, explaining things from the future to these people who just don't know. That's me and Paul just looking at you going, we don't know, I can't say anything, don't know what this means. Good, thank you. That's coming out tomorrow. What's next on the list?
Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader.
Oh, I think Paul is maybe going to do... Can you talk about this, Paul? You can't, can you?
I can't... Well, I can talk about it in general terms.
Okay, great.
In that it's another sort of CRPG from the Warhammer world, which looks, from just reading the things that have been released so far, like it's going to be quite interesting. There's a lot of different choices that you can make through the gameplay, it appears. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to this. I've become a bit of a fan of the Warhammer games. They seem to be, there's a few that aren't great, but the majority of the ones that are sort of the CRPG stuff like this is quite, they float my boat, shall we say. So yeah, I'll definitely be checking this one out.
Brilliant. What's next on the list, Richard? What's next in the box? I feel like a quiz show.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Never heard of that.
Dave has put it on this list, even though it doesn't have a defined release date, but we're all anticipating it releasing as part of the Game Awards next week.
Well, they've come out and said that it's coming out this year, haven't they?
Mm.
Yeah, they have, but they've still not given us a confirmed release date.
Do we think it's going to be a Game Pass? That would be a big thing.
I think it's going to be a shadow drop on Game Pass.
I think it will be a shadow drop, yeah. But I don't know if it'll be Game Pass.
Okay.
I think they've made the money out of the PC versions, haven't they? So,
yeah.
I'm also holding my breath for that physical release because I think that looks absolutely brilliant. So when that comes out next year, I think that's when I'm going to pick this up and wait for that.
Did you see the tweet they put out about that? Where people were getting the pre-orders and trying to sell them on, and they were just saying, "Listen, it's not limited. Don't buy it from scalpers. Just wait. There'll be loads." So yeah, I'm quite. That was quite classy, I thought, from them.
Good. What's next on the list?
Yeah, they've not put one for you, Gareth.
I'm trying to get through it.
Disney Dreamlight Valley 1.0.
Oh, that's got Gareth written all over it. That's.
Oh my god! Yeah, well, I've got this downloaded because my one of my nieces loved it on Xbox. I've always got it. They love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Don't tell lies, Gareth. We know why you've got it downloaded.
I've been rumbled. It's very popular. Everyone will be excited by that. Good. What's next? I'm rushing us through because I can see my internet is getting slower and slower. I can see as we speak. So,
can you see your internet?
I can. So I've got a little gauge on here that's going, my God, the date is going bad.
That's how slow it is. You can see it.
Yeah. I can see the code. What's next, Richard?
It's like the Matrix in his house.
Yeah.
Next up is Born of Bread.
What the hell is that?
The silence tells me everything.
Not convinced by that one, I don't think. Next.
So reading what Dave said, it's like a party-based RPG, and I'm quoting here, it's about as colourful and adorable as any pre-Christmas game should be.
There you go. Born of Bread. Born of Bread. I think I've seen this on the list.
Born of Bread. Yes, that sounds dreadful.
Good.
You can have that one, Gareth.
Thank you. What's next, Richard?
Once you can download stuff.
Next up is Trinity Fusion, which looks like a roguelite in the same vein as Strider and Dead Cells. If you're familiar with those.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Dead Cells. I quite enjoyed that one.
Well, that's for Paul. This one's for Paul. Put his name down. Good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how many are we up to now? This must be it.
Yeah, one more. Chesserama.
Oh, can you talk about this, Richard?
Yeah, that.
I can tell you what it is. Yes.
Good.
It's a secret.
it's a puzzle game where all the puzzles. So there's like 5 or 6 different puzzle types are based on chess pieces and how they move. So the first one, for example, is you've got to grow crops on your farm, but you're only controlling knight pieces and how they move, like the L shape. So you get the grid and you've got to grow your crops by landing on each square in succession, but you can only move in the knight formation, basically. And then the second one, for example, is a football pitch where you have to score a goal and you've got various different chess pieces there to sort of pass the ball around. So it's just like a puzzle game, but taking the elements of chess and putting those into a puzzle environment.
Oh, okay, good.
And I think it's even sponsoring an upcoming chess tournament. So there's quite a bit of hype in the chess world, I am told, about this game.
Wow. Oh, good.
That does sound interesting, to be honest.
It does. It did look
quite
good.
Impressed by that. Yeah.
Let's just do one more little bit of news. That's our 8. That's our 8 new Xbox and Game Passes that you can play this game.
You managed to get through it, Gareth.
Well done. Without seeing it, we don't know any of the games. We knew a few more. We're going to do, before this internet collapses, it's going to be a shorter podcast this week, I'm afraid, but we've got a long one next week. We should talk about next week. It's going to
Matron.
It's this is for Darren's good news. Beyond Good and Evil was leaked and then confirmed. The 20th anniversary edition is coming to. It appeared on Microsoft Store, but it's coming in. Is it February, or have they done a date yet? Anyone know?
Nobody cares.
They've not announced a release date for it yet, but when it popped up Tuesday, Wednesday, I can't remember when it was. People had managed to get hold of it via Ubisoft Plus. They'd released the full game onto there. A couple of people, the achievements had popped up, so on True Achievements, they'd got the achievement list. People had already started playing it. There were videos up online of the first hour or so that had to get taken down. And then they pulled all that and then said it's coming out in 2024.
Tell you what, it's like a circus over there, isn't it?
It's a really weird company now. They do weird things.
It is very odd.
And also, it's like just put all those people on Beyond Good and Evil 2, if that's ever coming out, or maybe it isn't.
It's never coming out. That'll be after Skull and Bones.
I said that they were doing this 20th anniversary to sort of test the waters again, much like when they did the original remaster of this over 10 years ago. That was to test the waters to see if people were still interested in what was going to be the sequel back then. And then it's changed so much in between then and now. They must have thought, oh, well, we'll see if people are still interested in this franchise and do another remaster.
Yeah.
Again.
A remaster of a remaster. I mean,
yeah, strange.
Talk about flogging a dead horse. There's not much left of it. It's just hooves and mane at the minute.
I know that Darren and myself will be happy to play through it again, though.
That's because you two are. Never go back, Gareth.
Never go back. Good. That's good. Now we're going to finish very early today because it's literally chugging us down. But before we go, we're going to have a longer podcast. It's going to be me, Paul, Richard, and Darren. But it's going to be a week, about 8 days' time, and we're going to cover the Game Awards. Next week we're going to do a Game Awards special, so it might be a bit longer. There'll be a lot, hopefully, to talk about.
Can I just? Yeah. Do I need to watch it?
You do need to bloody watch it.
Right. Okay.
With extensive notes that I want to see beforehand.
Absolutely, no problem.
Any predictions? What we think? We talked about Baldur's Gate, of course, which you know about. Any
Baldur's Gate?
Yes, any new ones? Richard, have you got any predictions? Something new?
I'm predicting something a bit unusual, but I think we're going to see the first trailer for the Fallout TV series during then.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I'm quite looking forward to that. So,
yeah.
Paul,
and Final Fantasy VII remake on Game Pass
on Xbox.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
What about you, Paul? Any predictions?
I think it's just all Baldur's Gate, and I predict that I will watch this thing. I predict that I won't let you down again, Gareth.
Good. We've got the it's the month with the new GTA 6 trailer. Do you think it's going to be at the Game Awards? Do you think they're going to do their own thing? I know you don't care, Paul, but most of the world
I really do, honestly.
I know you don't. We know you
if the Spy brought it through there.
I know you don't, but it's
the amount of caring is,
Rockstar normally do their own thing.
I nearly came up with a thing. I nearly came up with a saying then that would have had to be bleeped out, so I'll not do that.
I'm going to ask Richard. Richard, do you think Rockstar would do their own thing? I know you're not a big...
Yeah. Rockstar are the one company that don't need these big events, and they've never really used them, I don't think, for anything that they've announced anyway, so I don't see why that would change.
Interesting this week.
Jeff has given them so much money, and I mean so much money. That he wants that world premiere.
Oh, that would be a big one, wouldn't it? Though.
Yeah.
It would overshadow. Yeah, it would overshadow whatever him and Kojima are cooking up, because that's going to be another thing as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, great. Oh, good. I'm really excited. We don't know what it's going to be. I think we don't know much about next year yet. So it's going to be. There could be some nice surprises in there. What are we looking forward to next week, gentlemen? Apart from the Game Awards and us all coming together in our tuxes. Paul, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm obviously it's all about the Game Awards. I'm really looking forward to sitting down and watching that. But I'm also looking forward to trying out my new footplate on the fishing bank on Saturday.
Brilliant, wonderful.
Which, to be fair, is going to be quite chilly. So because it snowed here today. I don't know if it snowed down where you guys are. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Thermals on, I think.
Good. And what about you, Richard?
Well, this might come across as a bit of an insult, but I don't mean it that way. But I'm actually looking forward to seeing Paul next week.
Oh, I can't wait, mate. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Although you need to sort out your accommodation situation. Because driving back, it means you can't get drunk. And who's Darren going to get drunk with then?
There we go.
Darren will be all right on his own.
He probably will, to be fair. Yeah, I don't think it'll slow him down much.
No.
Good.
And I can't believe that a certain host of the podcast has snubbed us again.
I know, I'm not coming.
Snubbed us that much. He's left the group entirely.
Yeah, absolutely. I
had to leave. I'm not going to listen to you organising your hotels.
It was a definitive no of that when you left that group.
I don't go to.
Yeah, it really was. It was like, I'm out. Sort of Dragon's Den gif. There he was.
I don't go to cities that become bankrupt. It's part of my plan. I'm joking, Nottingham City Council, sorry.
That's it. He's never coming to Nottingham again.
I'm never coming there again.
Lynched on the border.
You have a good time. You show us lots of pictures. I'm looking forward to getting my internet back, if it ever happens. It might not happen. I'm watching TV again. Now, gentlemen, if we need to get hold of you, where do we get hold of you? Paul?
Well, you can get hold of me on the internet, so you can't. But I'm on Threads and X at Xbox Hub Paul is my handle.
And Richard, where can we get hold of you?
X, Threads, Instagram, Bieber, MySpace. I don't know. I think Friends Reunited.
God, do you remember that?
I think we're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this by the end. None of us are into it. I'm not into it. Sharing the thing. You can find out where to go on us. We'll stop this next week. Now, gentlemen, thank you very much for being patient. Thank you to the listeners to listen to this thing, which will probably be like robots speaking for 40 minutes. But we'll see you next week for the special Game Award. But till now, bye-bye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.TheXboxHub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub, and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.